What's up everybody, Jack Farr here on behalf of Box to Box Football. Just before we do get into the video, I do just want to make a very humble request. James and I are on the road to 500 subscribers, and if you are not subscribed and you do continue watching our videos, we'd really appreciate the subscription, and drop a like while you're at it. Just helps us grow the channel as much as we can. Today's video, we're going to be looking at 4 managers in the Premier League who are probably already on the hot seat going into this upcoming season. Now, I think it's fair to say that there's probably more than 4 who are going to be on the hot seat, especially over the course of a season where a couple of bad results and then rumours with you being fired or replaced start happening pretty quickly. However, these 4 do just kind of stand out to me as the 4 that I think, only a couple of bad results and we could be talking about a change. So, first up is Xisco Munoz. This is the Watford head coach at the moment. Now, he's only actually been at Watford since the 21st of December 2020, and, in all credit to him, Watford are now in the Premier League from the Championship to the previous year, and he had a really, really great run. But in my opinion, he does not have the top experience or skill at the top level to be able to kind of continue this run with Watford in the Premier League. I mean, especially at a club like Watford, it's going to be incredibly difficult to sustain a run that doesn't at least flirt with relegation. And sadly, what we do know is that with relegation as a threat, there's usually only one remedy for that has historically worked. And unfortunately, that is a managerial change as part of the team. He is a head coach, not a manager, but I'm still including him as kind of fulfilling that manager role for the club. Previous teams managed Pobla, Mafumet, interim coach, no idea, never heard of that team, and Dinamo Tbilisi, again, maybe they've played in the Europa League once, but not really heard of them, and that was only for 2020 for a bit, and obviously at the end of 2020 he was at Watford, so not a lot of faith for Xisco Munoz, but who knows, he could surprise us all. On to the next candidate, and it is Newcastle United, and it is Steve Bruce. Now, Steve Bruce is a safe pair of hands. He's never going to be the guy, I think, to get you relegated. He's never going to be a manager to come in and just totally destroy a club a la somebody like Frank de Boer or something like that. But there are always constant rumours of this new ownership coming in at Newcastle, and if it stays much the same, I'm sure that he'll keep his job, but if there's any drop-off of level, which you can never really rule out, I can definitely see Steve Bruce changing, and also if the actual ownership does change, I think that they're not going to want Steve Bruce leading the charge as their first manager in charge there. So for me, I can see Steve Bruce being kicked out of Newcastle United at some point this season and replaced by somebody else. It just feels like this year's probably the year where it's going to come to an end. Manager number 3, who I think is certainly on the hot seat for this upcoming season, is it's Mikel Arteta. Arsenal's drop-off has been largely kind of sad to watch. I'm sure not for rival fans, Spurs fans, Chelsea fans, etc. But Arsenal's drop-off has been kind of sad and a bit depressing to watch. I don't actually believe that these have been inherently Mikel Arteta's fault. However, a lot of that kind of early optimism of when Arteta did start the project has largely dissipated. What's kind of funny in this situation is I think a good transfer window potentially hurts Mikel Arteta, because the moment that a good transfer window comes in and maybe Arsenal get the players that they want, then the expectations will begin to rise. And obviously with the other teams around them strengthening, if Arteta doesn't quite hit the heights and he has much, a similar year as he did last year, then I think the Arteta out brigade and those very vocal Arsenal fans, sometimes deluded, but one thing we do know is very vocal Arsenal fan base, they're going to let the ownership know that they are going to want a change. Moving on to the last one, and some people might go, what the hell are you talking about? You're so crazy, I don't buy this. Guys, somebody else who's definitely going to be on the hot seat is Thomas Tuchel. Now, you might be thinking like, oh, what? He just won the Champions League. How can you think that? Have we not seen other Chelsea managers win the Champions League and then get fired in November? This is an easy inclusion for me, and I think if I was going to do this list at any point, if Chelsea aren't winning the league or definitely consistently making top 4, any manager is always going to be put in this hot seat list, because this is the way that Chelsea operate, guys. They always try to give themselves an edge, and one thing that we do know from the executives is it's always on to the next one. And largely, who can blame them? The success over the last 15-20 years, 2 Champions Leagues, multiple different titles with different managers as well. Only a team like Chelsea could win the Champions League and then fire their manager in November the next year, like we saw with Roberto Di Matteo. You're telling me that with Manchester United strengthening, Man City still strong, maybe Liverpool with Van Dijk coming back, a Leicester City, an Arsenal, Spurs, who knows, right, being stronger, if Chelsea aren't kind of swimming and circling around 5th to 7th, that in November they're not going to consider getting rid of Thomas Tuchel? Because I certainly think they will. Guys, let me know what you think. Are there any managers that I've missed? Are there any managers on this list that you think, no, there's no way that guy's on the hot seat and potentially going to get fired? These are the 4 that I initially thought of, but I'd love to hear your thoughts. As I kind of mentioned at the beginning of the video, James and I are kind of on the road to 500 subscribers and hopefully onwards and upwards from there. We're going to be doing a couple more lives coming up. We've got our, we're going to be obviously recording after tonight's game, Come On England, and on Sunday as well, if England make it to the final, as well as the Copa America final, we're going to live stream too. But please drop a like on the video, subscribe, help support and grow the channel. And until next time, I'll see you.